פלישתים?
לא, אנחנו משבט יהודה, שלחת לנו הודעה שאת צריכה עזרה.
טוב שבאתם. כבר חשבתי שלא תגיעו.
נראה לך שאנחנו נפקיר דם מדמנו? תגיד, יכול לתת לך חיבוק?
גם משאיר את עצמך.
אחים אנחנו.
This is the PC way of helping someone. You go out and you light a candle, or you pray for them, or you give them a hug. Everything that is basically absolutely useless. In my relentless quest to bring you some Israeli humor for you to enjoy, I have found 2 clips that were made by the Jews Are Coming crew that actually have English subtitles. Oh, yay! Which means I'm not going to translate it loudly like I usually do. I'll just comment on it. And then by doing so, take away the edge from the humor and make it more like a tragedy, which I kind of think that they are not as funny as they are tragic to begin with, because those are, of course, clips that make fun of what transpired or what was revealed and the way the Israelis feel since October 7th.
כן, טוב, אני שמח שבאתם, אבל אתם רק 2, צריך עוד לוחמים. הפלישתים הם על הגדר מעזה, הם רוצים לרצוח אותי.
בסדר, גברת, מספיק עם התבלה. מה, למה שהם ירצו לרצוח דווקא אותך? בסדר, לא כל אחד שמקשקש שזה משהו על שלט באמת הולך לרצוח אותך.
אנחנו נרצח אותך, שמשון!
לא להתייחס, זה סתם, זה תרגיל, הם עושים תרגיל. תקשיב מה תעשה.
Okay, for those who are very, very slow, the Hamas charter had the declaration of intent that is, we will kill all the Jews specifically everywhere they are in the world, wherever they hide, wherever they are, until they get extinct. You know, for the slowpokes who don't get the reference.
אתה לוקח דחליל, אתה תוקע באדמה, דחליל בצורה של שואל, הם לא יעזו להתקרב.
בטוח? הם לא ירצו אולי לנקום מתוך איזה מעגל שפיכות דמים אינסופי?
מה פתאום, גברת, הם מורתעים.
So this is where you can see they are themselves kind of leftists, like endless blood shed and cycle and things like that. No, they're just brainwashed maniacs. The Nazis didn't need a reason to go and butcher all the Jews and slaughter them and send them to the gas chambers. It's not that there is a reason. They are just supremacists and they are being fed with this psychotic ideology called Islam. This is how you know they're leftists, but just because of that sentence. No, it's not part of a cycle. It's just part of a, we will not stop until there are literally 0 people on earth.
שמשונון קטן.
מה?
בוא תביא חיבוק לאחיך מיהודה.
תחבק אותו.
בוא.
גם השעות.
Okay, I hope this music not gonna get me copyrighted. I'll shorten it. But this is a song that it went viral for soldiers going back home and, like saying hi and like hugging their families. They always use that song in the background. So this is why they used it. You see like the little children run to their parents or the siblings to their siblings. And like they surprise their family by coming home from war.
אחים אנחנו. אחים.
את עצמך.
אני פשוט מרגיש כל כך לבד פה.
נו, אבל אי אפשר כל הזמן עם התבלה, באמת, נו, אבל עכשיו יהודה עזר לך.
עם החיבוק?
אנחנו מחבקים אתכם, תושבי הדרום.
זה לא כואב גם להגיד תודה לפעמים.
תודה, אבל אני לא חושב שזה יעזור.
אין את זה.
לא, זה כל הזמן אני רק שומעת תדר של כפיות טובה, אני לא מבינה את זה, אנחנו השקענו מיליונים בהבטחה שלך.
איזה הבטחה?
הבטחנו לך שלא יקרה לך כלום.
We defended you. So what they actually say, so הבטחה and הבטחה, it's spelled differently, but it sounds similar. הבטחה is a promise, and הבטחה is a defense. So the actual joke here is that is like how are you? We spent millions like to keep you secure for your defense, and he is like, what defense? What are you talking about? Yeah, we made like so many promises, like empty promises. This is the defense because it sounds the same, promise and defense.
קוראים שם דברים.
חלאס לטבל ולהוריד לעם, גברת.
תקשיבי, אם אתם לא עוזרים לי, אני נשבע לך שאני לוקח את כל שבט דן, אנחנו עולים צפונה, ולא יישאר פה אף אחד.
אתה רוצה לספר לו?
לא.
אז אני אספר? אז לא, אתה תספר, סיפרת
קרה
יפה.
שם משהו?
בוא נאמר שאחרי שאנחנו מסיימים לחבק אותך, אנחנו עולים צפונה. לחבק את תושבי הצפון.
אז באתם לפה רק בשביל לחבק אותי?
באנו לקחת לך את כל הנשקים, גברת.
So the north, if those would, I don't know if nobody knows, but the north is burning right now because of the rocket attacks from Hezbollah. And all the residents there are actually evacuated. So they live in hotels now for 8 months, ever since the start of the war, because like a lot of people evacuated from the north. And a lot of people evacuated from around Gaza. And now they're coming back to Gaza, but the north is still.
לקחת לי את הנשקים. אתם השתגעתם? לקחת לי את הנשק? הפלישתים פה למעלה על הגדר.
Like taking the weapons away, it's, I don't know, like the Israeli government tried to do it from taking away the weapons from some residents in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank. But believe me, like they're like if you take a step back and you're like thinking about who those are, the ones that created those videos, they most likely would have supported that decision. So I think here the reference is more accurate to say that this is how the international community behaves. So the way they support Israel is by taking away our ability to defend ourselves, and the only thing they give us is like, you know, just the plate. So that if somebody, I mean.
נו, אבל זה בדיוק בגלל זה, בגלל שאם עכשיו תפרוץ מלחמה, אז הם יכולים לקחת את כל הנשקים, וזה יהיה מאוד מסוכן לתושבים.
אני לא תושב?
So I don't know where they brought that logic from. I kind of feel like I should look for it. If there is a reference to something specific where they think that somebody can take away weapons from you. Did happen a lot in Iraq, Afghanistan, like all those soldiers that were trained by the American army weren't very motivated to fight back against the Taliban and ISIS. They just left their things and ran away. I don't know. I don't think it makes sense in Israel specifically. Also because like there are so many bases you can just take and go steal weapons from. So it's not that hard. So I don't know what they're referencing here.
תראה איך זה בדיוק השיחה שלנו ממקודם.
לא יאמן, מה
זה
שדיברנו.
דור רק של אני ואני ואני.
מחלת האינדיבידואליזם.
תקשיבו, הם הולכים להרוג אותי.
אני יודע בדיוק מה אתה צריך.
גם השעות החשוכות.
הבנתי, אוקיי, סליחה.
אני דורש לדעת מה יהיה איתי.
אתה תמות.
אני אמות?
רגע, תן לי לסיים משפט. תמות נפשך. עם פלישתים.
אז אני כן אמות.
עם פלישתים אבל אני אומרת לך.
את גיבורה, גברת!
מה זה שמשון הגיבורה?
איך זה עוזר לי?
זה עוזר לנו. אין כמו סיפור גבורה גדול כדי להסתיר פשלה עוד יותר גדולה.
ותזכור, יחד ננצח.
ואני לבד.
אז לבד יחד ננצח.
טוב. יאללה. שיהיה יום טוב.
אולי בכל זאת איזה נשק.
Here, for example, like I wouldn't apply it on the Israelis at all, to be honest, like this kind of behavior. And when it comes to the outside of Israel, I would say there wasn't even a hug that much, so.
נשק כתב לו, אצלך יש הכל, יש לי פה מעל האש, לחי של חמור. יכול להשתמש.
לכי? מה אני אעשה עם לכי?
לכי תחפשי מי ינענע אותך, גברת.
ויאמר שמשון תמות נפשי עם פלישתים, ויהיו המתים אשר המית במותו, רבים מאשר המית בחייו.
I always like saying that he's the first suicide bomber. Even though, like, historically speaking, you know, you have the whole story of Delilah cutting his hair. She probably, if you think about it logically and the way the Torah is written, is that sometimes they use metaphors, but you're supposed to, like, if you're a grown-up and a bit more realistic, you're supposed to understand that it was not the hair that she cut off. Because that story, you know, of, somebody cutting somebody's woman going, came, you know, it's not the only one. There is also the story of Yael and Sisera. I mean, she had a nail, pushed a nail in his head, I think, or something. And then you have Yehudit, which actually didn't enter the canon of the Jewish Bible. So it's more likely that he wasn't really a suicide bomber as much as Delilah just cut off, you know, separated the body from the head when she cut off his hair. It's the way, you know, the Bible doesn't, it covers up some things, and then it's in there, you can guess what really happened by looking for similar stories. I also saw, in one of my lives that I said that there is a chance that Rebecca wasn't a virgin, and this is, so because they added that very weird detail where she fell off the horse or whatever thing that was carrying her, and it was such a weird detail to add, so it can also lead to the thing that they tried to explain why there was no bleeding in the first night. So this is where it comes from. So there are a lot of ways to read the Bible, and I think makes it really interesting because this is a collection and accumulation of stories that really reflects humanity. And even here, what we see in this story of Shimshon, like the way they use stories from the Bible to completely and accurately reflect things that are going on right now, even though there is a little bit of a narrative there. You know, even reading the Bible, we all have our own narratives. This is why people would read the same sentence and have different conclusions about what happened to Noah after his son entered the tent, which people don't know. Like, Noah cursed, I think, Shem, one of his sons, for what he had done to him. And there are three options there. It was either you just saw him naked or something, like something very naive. But then how did Noah know about it? The other one is there was some, you know, sexual action that happened, which is, to be honest, the second worst scenario. And then the most scenario that is that he didn't want to have more competition when it comes to, you know, inheritance. Yeah. So, yeah, that maybe he didn't want more people that would fight him over the inheritance. So he cut off his reproduction system. That's the third option. But all the Bible says is that he entered his tent and exited, and then he got cursed by his father. That's all the information you get. What really happened there? This is, interesting. And this is why it's important to also understand the context of the history around stories and things like that, to also understand what kind of morality Judaism brought. Because a lot of the laws sound like they are just an extension of everything that was known, but they were the sophistication that was added and the way that the story progresses and the way the characters, you can see that there is a development and there is an introduction of morality system that really didn't exist. But like the Rambam said about having a sacrifice animal is something that the sacrificial animals that the Israelites had used were kind of training wheels, because it was too hard to go from a society that is used to sacrificing animals in their backyard to a society that doesn't believe in sacrificial animals at all. So even there he says like, okay, this is clearly the intent is to actually phase it out if you read it. So this is why I said, like, if you read the Bible and you understand the intentions and the narrative and how it's structured, like what there is, this is why, like, I always say, like, Judaism is, if you can't just catch a glimpse of it, you have to understand the flow. And the flow is towards learning more ethics, learning more morality, and always updating the moral codes that you live by, but never doing that without understanding why the previous rules were set and decided upon to begin with. So, because we come across situations right now, we're living in biblical times. There is like this show always uses biblical characters, but right now, a lot of people went back to reading the biblical stories and history, because this is exactly the way that, like, our neighbors, the way they think is exactly what was common during biblical times. So it feels like it's a replay. It's just a replay of whatever happened in the Bible. And this is why people go back. We're like, wait, we went through this already. Let's see what was the best way to get to where we are now back then, and see if we can learn from our previous mistakes and our previous methods to see how do we become a stronger nation once again. Because, because this fighting with the Philistines and that it's similar, it's the same, it feels the same because it is the same. And our neighbors, if it wasn't for Western morals intervention, and let's be honest, a lot of it has come to fruition and became possible because of Jewish values that became a commonplace in the West. And that we had this, scientific advancement. If it wasn't for that, like, this area would have been living like biblical times or even worse. So the technological advancements that are around us are not natural. They're not natural because they are imported from other places. It's not there naturally. They get it from the outside. So we are living in biblical times. I don't know. Imagine that in the Bible, suddenly they would get internet because they had an alien species that would come and be like, hey, let's give us our technology so you can enjoy our technology. And then you think but the mentality would stay the same. So it makes sense. It's the same thing. We already had those problems. This is why a lot of Amalek, the name of Amalek came, because you read it and you're like, oh, it's the same kind of mentality. It's the same kind of people. It makes sense. Humanity doesn't change as fast as the technology does. That's the thing. So thank you all for watching. I have another video that also has subtitles that I'm gonna do next. Okay, like, comment, subscribe. I have a Buy Me Coffee if you want to support me, which really helps. And see you later.